to the region.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Justin Case. Heavy rain is expected throughout the week and could create more localized problems later this week and into the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Andrew Dockery is in the Weather Center with the latest details. Andrew, when can we expect the rain to begin?
Well, Justin, that's the question everyone wants to know is when is this going to start? When can we expect the biggest impacts, and when will we get our next break? Well, we can tell you right now the rain will not be happening tonight. Take a look at Pinpoint Doppler. In fact, you'll see a very clean sweep at this time. But as we work into your Tuesday, we'll start to see that system slowly work in. For right now, temperatures in the lower 30s will drop into the upper 20s for tonight, and in preparation for that rain, which will arrive Tuesday afternoon into the evening, that flood watch has been put out for all of eastern Kentucky. This goes through your Thursday, and we'll continue to look at 1 to 3 inches by Thursday morning. Now, as far as severe weather threats go, through Thursday, heavy rain, mudslides, and rock slides will be the main things. River flooding will be bad, but it won't pick up until after Thursday. And I think really if system number 1 pans out and we get that second system, that's where we run into some of the river flooding issues. Of course, Justin will break down everything we know at this time coming up in a few short minutes.
Andrew, thank you. Today, Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander declared a local state of emergency for the county. He says this is in response to all of the mudslides, rock slides, breaks in the roadways, and other problems we've seen recently. Damages are already more than $100,000 across the county. He says the state of emergency will also last through the severe weather we could see this week.
We've had over 14 instances already of slips and slides and breakages of roads that we've addressed, and that's before the freezing and thawing and potential rain that's coming next.
And one of those trouble spots Judge Alexander is talking about is on Kentucky 699. After a mudslide Sunday night, the Perry County roadway is now back open. Earlier today, the road was filled with the sound of dump trucks backing up and an excavator working to clear the road that connects Leatherwood to the rest of Perry County and parts of Harlan County. People who live across from the slip say the slip sounded like thunder, and now they worry what may happen next.
As far as going up the road, it's not, to bother me very much or us over here. But the biggest thing I worry about is the rest of that mountain coming off.
The road opened up earlier tonight around 8 o'clock. You should still use caution when driving through that area. And these slides and breaks aren't only happening in Perry County. Officials with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet District 12 say with more rain, they expect those problems to only get worse and for more issues to arise. Some of the problems they are dealing with include a break on Kentucky 582 in Knott County and a mudslide on Kentucky 1428 in Floyd County.
We have rock falls and mudslides every year because of the freeze-thaw cycle. But we've had more this season than normal.
Transportation officials say some problems like the break on Kentucky 582 cannot be fixed until utility lines above are moved. They say they did contract the utility company. And in Harlan County, the same mudslide we told you about nearly 2 weeks ago is still causing problems. The slide along Kentucky 72 near Highway 2425 has been filling one lane with debris and mud. This route is the only way for people on the other side to get to Harlan and other communities. County Judge Executive Dan Mosley says the issue stems from a road that was improperly constructed by the state on private land. He wants a permanent solution to the issue.
It is very dangerous. Until they can provide me a letter saying that that is safe and they don't feel like anybody should have to sit there 24/7, I'm going to continue to contend that someone does.
The Transportation Cabinet, in a statement they sent us, quote, says the current slide originated near this area, but the road did not contribute to the current slide. The roadway has one lane which has been opened since the initial occurrence and maintained one lane at all times. You can read the full statement on WYMT.com. At the City Commission meeting in Hazard tonight, officials voted on and passed a proposal which would allow alcohol sales on Sundays within the city limits. Restaurants and retail stores will now be allowed to sell beer, wine, and liquor, but they must get a permit to do so. That permit costs $300. I went to the meeting tonight as both sides passionately tried to communicate their feelings on the proposal. Some local restaurant owners say they would likely make more money if they could sell alcohol on Sundays.
I know a lot of people go out of town to Pikeville and different places and watch games and races and things so they can eat and drink. And I'm not even 100% sure if we would even offer the Sunday alcohol sales. We're still talking about whether or not, we even want to do that.
The new ordinance now allows alcohol sales from 1 in the afternoon until midnight. Some at the meeting Monday feel Sundays should be preserved to worship God.
If they go to church, how can they look their pastors in the eye saying, I voted for this?
Others say they go out to eat with their families after church right around the time alcohol sales will be allowed.
It's your church crowd on Sunday. And so now the concern will be if we go out and take our children, that there's going to be people in there drinking that might get loud, it might get out of hand.
Alcohol sales on Sundays will be taxed the same way it is other days of the week at 3%. City officials say that's something that's helped other cities like Pikeville, London, and Corbin.
The first year they made an extra $170,000 and it's gone up for the last 7. And Pikeville didn't have a figure, but the city manager said it's definitely a bump. And, and then there's stipulations on how you can spend the ABC money, but mainly it's on law enforcement.
Businesses and retail stores do not have to apply for the permit if they do not want to sell alcohol on Sundays. All city commissioners, including the mayor, voted in favor of the proposal. The only one who abstained from voting was Susan Brotherton because she owns a business that sells alcohol locally. Perry County officials say they will now bring the issue up on a county-wide level, so businesses who sell alcohol outside city limits will not be at a disadvantage. Schools across eastern Kentucky have closed due to sickness in the past few weeks, and officials at a local healthcare facility say the past 7 days they have had hundreds of people test positive for the flu. Primary Care Center of Eastern Kentucky says over the weekend they had more than 100 flu cases come through their office, and they don't believe it will be slowing down anytime soon.
You see a few cases and then all of a sudden there's a cluster from people not washing their hands, not really taking precautions, not staying home when they're sick, going out to the grocery store. People just don't take the precautions they're supposed to.
Doctors from the clinic say if you are sick, make sure to stay at home because it can spread easily. Kentucky State Police say a woman's body was found in Knox County this morning. Police say a man was walking in a wooded area off Ed Harp Lane just outside of Barberville when he found a woman's body in a shallow creek. Kentucky State Police say they are looking into any current missing persons cases in the area, seeing if they can connect the body to any cases.
We know that the Knox County Sheriff's Department is working a female missing persons case, and we're teaming up with them at this time to figure out exactly if these are connected.
Police say an autopsy will be conducted tomorrow morning in Frankfort. After that, officials should have an identity and know more about the cause of death. A small community in Martin County is in mourning. Early this morning, a house fire in Martin County took the life of 70-year-old Kathy Aline Runyon. Family members say she had a loving heart and cared for many. Neighbor Barbie Ann Maynard called 911 after she saw smoke coming from Runyon's home. She says Runyon treated everyone she met like family.
Our community is so tight-knit that it's more like one big family. So it feels like our whole family is in mourning right now.
Runyon's body will be sent to Frankfort for an autopsy. Kentucky State Police and the fire marshal are investigating. Kentucky's state of addiction comes with many costs, and one of those are infants born with their own drug dependencies. These statistics can be heartbreaking. 15 out of every 1,000 infants in Kentucky are born with an opioid addiction. Miranda Combs investigates just how this is not an issue just about babies.
They were all wanting to smother you in this love and care, and almost to the point in the beginning it made me angry because these people are loving on me.
She had reason to be weary, spent years with trusting nothing except the relief of opioids. Her babies went to family, she had nothing, and was about to lose her life.
I had endocarditis, I was in septic shock. I had a stroke. I was suffering from liver, kidney failure, you know, all these different things.
You were about to die?
Yeah. Actually, they called my family in to let them know to kind of come say their goodbyes. They didn't expect me to make it through the first night.
But she did, and continued through months in the hospital, and then transported to serve a year in jail. After only a month or so, though, she was back in the hospital, still struggling with heart infections from drug use.
I still, after getting out, after all of that, I still struggled to be sober.
The point in this story is to once again show recovery isn't easy. She soon found out she was pregnant again. But this time, someone so close to death before used life, a tiny life, as the reason to stay clean.
It was almost like this, okay, I can be a mom again. You know, I can have that title back. I have this other chance. It was kind of because I lost everything.
She stayed with UK's Pathways, a clinic especially for pregnant women with substance use disorder. But here was the key. This place that doesn't exist much but is much needed. A new place to go after the baby is born, called UK's Beyond Birth, where the controversial MAT, or medically assisted treatment, is welcomed and supported. Not the case everywhere or with everyone, Bethany says.
A lot of times we look at each other and we're like, well, you're not sober because you're on MAT. You know, why put all this work, why do all this stuff if I can't even be deemed sober?
Medically assisted treatment is typically known as Suboxone on the streets, a drug that can be diverted and abused. But Bethany says it's also saving lives, and the conversations around it need to start.
It's very hush-hush about it, and so if you don't hear those, and you're only hearing negative things, then it won't, it won't move forward and get better.
She is now a poster child of success, from almost a deadly statistic to a working mother of society. Just what the medically assisted treatment community wants everyone to take note of. In Lexington, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Bethany is now working at Pathways as a peer leader, helping pregnant women with substance abuse disorder. Coming up at 11, the crisis in Venezuela continues, how U.S. officials plan to deliver humanitarian aid. And former acting Attorney General Andrew McCabe brings out new allegations against President Trump. We'll have the details and President's response.
And rain chances can cause flooding issues. They, in fact, probably will for the middle and the end of the week. What can we expect exactly? The answer coming up next.
Why has Darrell Pugh gone negative? That's what Pelosi Clinton politicians do. Darrell Pugh takes anti-coal, pro-abortion campaign cash, answering to Frankfurt liberals who underfunded teacher pensions. Darrell Pugh is bad for Eastern Kentucky. Philip Wheeler is a Trump conservative, a fighter helping coal miners get what they deserve. He'll do the same in Frankfurt. Endorsed by Kentucky Right to Life and ranked highest by the NRA, he'll make Eastern Kentucky great again. On March 5th, vote Philip Wheeler for state senate.
This President's Day weekend, during Toyota's Pick and Roll sales event, pick a low-mileage lease on a new 2019 Highlander LE for just $249 a month, or up to $1,750 total cash back. But only to February 19th. Toyota, let's go places. We all want more for less, and Spectrum delivers. Spectrum TV has tons of HD, thousands of titles